shit.
What's up guys, Jay here, back with another video. It is a gorgeous day today, a perfect day to unbox this and put it together. This is an Orion Power Sports. Hold on. This is an Orion. Hold on. So like I said, this is a Orion Power Sports 125cc pit bike. It is also street legal, which is awesome. So enough talking. Let me go ahead, get this open, get it on this dirt bike stand, and then we'll get it put together. Alright, so I've got the bike out of the box. I've got it on the stand here. Kind of everything that was zip tied to it, I got it removed, laid it out to do kind of like an inventory on what came with it. So the bike didn't come with like a packing list to show you what all you're supposed to have. So hopefully by the time we get this put together, I don't have anything extra and I'm not missing anything. But I've got laid out the kickstand, the mirrors, the front fender. That is their high performance ignition box. It was a $40 add-on. Supposedly, you know, it increases the rev limit, advances the timing, and adds 2 horsepower. So we'll see. Little fairings, some foot pegs, my shifter, the front axle. Came with a toolkit with some wrenches, a spanner wrench, some Allen keys, and a screwdriver. You know, owner's manual, some oil, and some other little pieces of paper, and then the keys. Now, this did not come with any assembly instructions, but if you go to Orion Power Sports' website, they have, under the tech support section, they have some general pit bike assembly instructions, which are super vague. So I think I'm gonna have to figure this out for myself. And then I also looked over everything, the parts, the bike, just to see if anything was damaged in transport, because I mean, you're shipping a dirt bike, so I expect to be some damage. So I just kind of looked it over. I didn't really find anything too serious. You know, little paint chip right there. This obviously wasn't from shipping, but this case is kind of rusted a little bit, but that's an easy fix. What else? This was from one of the support bars on the steel box that it came in. And then the other thing that kind of sucks is this isn't so much shipping. I think it's just the way they packed it. Was this front fender, they had it shoved up in between the rear fender and the tire, so this is crushed. I could probably fix that though with a heat gun. Heat this up and kind of pull it back into place. And then this fairing is kind of, I don't know if you guys can see that. It's not straight, it's kind of warped, it's twisted. But again, probably something I can fix with a heat gun. So other than that, let's get this put together, and I think I'll start with the handlebars, get those on, and then go from there. All right, so because this is a street legal pit bike, it does come with this little, you know, gauge cluster and then the headlight. So on the general assembly instructions on their website, it doesn't really tell you like where to put this stuff, but you know, we can figure it out. And if you guys can hear my little box fan running in the background, I apologize. It is hot today. It's like it was super nice earlier. It's starting to heat up a lot lately, so. There we go, it goes like that. We'll take this off for now. Get this shit in the way. And just make sure you don't forget to put these washers on the bottom. I'm gonna start with these back bolts first, because if I'm looking at these parts correctly, I think the gauge cluster and everything attaches to this front part. And since these are you know, self-locking nuts, they already have like a locking type mechanism inside there. I'm not gonna put any Loctite on these or anything. And I know it comes with all the tools you probably need, but usually tools that come inside kits suck. So this is a 6mm Allen socket, and then you're gonna need a 13mm wrench for the nut side. All right, now the gauge cluster, we're gonna take these two holes and just mount them to the front of these bolts on the bottom side of the top of the triple tree here. So I'm gonna make sure I've got this brake cable and the throttle cable running to the left side, and then the clutch cable running over to the right side. So we're just gonna slip it in between like that. And then obviously once I get the front wheel on and everything, I will kind of adjust these more for my riding position. I'm already screwed up the finish on these handlebars, but I mean, what do you expect? It's a cheap bike, and it's pretty obvious once you start looking at all the parts on this thing. I mean, you can tell it's cheap quality compared to, like, if you look at an actual name brand bike like a Yamaha or a Honda. It's cheap for a reason, and I'm probably gonna destroy this thing. So this is gonna go here, just like that. I really don't know if it matters which way it goes, whether it goes this way or if it goes on this way. I really don't think it matters. I think at this point you can just personal preference. So I think I'm gonna mount it this way so the key's in front. That's where I'm gonna put that. All right, and then these little screws that hold this little ignition piece on are 5mm Allens. Set that like that for right now. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's a little hole right there underneath the cluster gauge. I'm going to take this off so I can take the wire harness for the ignition and run it through there. And then I'm going to take this wire harness for these controls and run them through there as well. So like I said, we're going to take this wire harness for this ignition switch. Stick it right here in this little spot. I'm gonna feed it down through here. And then we're gonna take this wire harness, unplug that, and feed it through right here as well. Let's put that underneath these cables. So we'll do that. Pull it down there. And then we'll put this back on. Yeah, that's good. That'll work. And then we're going to stop right there for now on that part. And then I'm going to start working on this front wheel and the brake. And then we'll get all this tightened down later. All right, front wheel. So brake disc is going to go to the left side of the bike. This right here is your mounting bracket for the caliper. So I'm just going to go ahead and slide this in here. All right, and then the axle, we've got a long bushing and a short bushing. The long bushing is going to, it's going to go on the brake disc side, and then our short bushing is going to go on the right side of the bike. Long bushing left side, short bushing right side. Got that side in, and we take our short bushing, slide this in here, there we go. So that wasn't too bad. All right, then we're gonna put this caliper on. This part of the bracket is threaded. Look at our pistons are extended, so we're gonna have to compress that down. All right, that's just enough to get the disc in there. All right, guys, and then, you know, because this is a brake caliper and the nature of this component, I'm gonna put some blue Loctite on these threads. All right, so these two little spacers that came with these bolts, we're gonna get the brake in between there. All right. So those spacers are going to go between the fork bracket and the caliper bracket, just like this. And this is a 10mm bolt. That on. make sure you guys put this on there good and tight. Then don't forget to route your brake cable through this plastic bracket here on the front of this. And this is all just plastic with some self-tapping screws, so don't tighten it too much because then you'll strip it out. Alright, now I'm just going to put on this right side foot peg and the kickstand. And then the only thing that's holding this pin in for the foot peg is a little cotter pin. Try not to break it because we're going to reuse this. Right, so these foot pegs are only going to go on one way. If you've got the wrong side on there, it'll be obvious. Alright, that's it. That's how we're going to do this. And I'll show you guys here in a second. Alright, so that spring's going to go on in a way that keeps this foot peg sprung forward. So hopefully you guys can see that. The little short hook of the spring's going to hook around right here. The bigger hook's going to go here, and you're going to have to force it into place while you feed this pin through. So it needs to look like that, and spring the foot peg forward every time you bring it back. Alright, the left foot peg is on, so just take a look at this spring orientation. Same as the right side, little hook over this part of the bracket, and then the big hook over this bracket part on the foot peg. Alright, so I need to figure out how this frickin' spring goes on. This is obviously going to go like this. Alright, well, I have no idea if that is right or not, but it works. I'm sure if it's wrong, somebody will let me know in the comment section. This whole bracket's loose, so let's make sure we tighten that up. Oh yeah, that's loose. Look at that shit. Alright. That one's tight. Alright, and then my shifter. You can either put it where the bolt is parallel to that line, or I think I'm going to go just a little bit. I'm gonna put it on just like that, and then, you know, if I don't like it or something's not right, I can always adjust it. Put some blue Loctite in here too. Alright, got the bike off of the stand, and I'm going to put these, I'm going to adjust these handlebars to a good spot. Let's see here. Alright, we are almost there. I've got the handlebars where I want them, you know. I've got the foot peg on, the front wheel, the brake caliper mounted. What else we got? We got the kickstand on, the other peg, our shifter. So what I'm going to do now that I've got the handlebars tightened down, I'm going to take care of this big old rat's nest of wires that I've got. I'm going to clean this all up, and then I'll get this front fender put on. Alright, and then before I put this front fender on, if you can see, it's a little warped, a little twisted because of the way they had it packed, so I'm going to put a heat gun to this real quick and see if I can straighten it out. All right, the heat gun seemed to help a little bit, so I'm gonna get this put on. We've got, let's see, there's 3 8mm bolts up under the bottom of the triple tree here that I'm gonna take out because that's where this is gonna mount. These two aluminum type pins right here, that's where these are gonna go. They're gonna go inside these holes. So it's gonna go something like this, and that's gonna come down. And then, you know, I don't know if this is right, but this is how I'm gonna put this in, guys. These little washers that come right here, they've got like they're like little hat washers, and then the top of this fairing's got a recess and it fits in there perfectly. So that's how I'm gonna stick it on for now. I don't know if that's how it really goes, but that's how this is going. If it's wrong, let me know. All right, I've pretty much got the bike pretty much all together. It's looking pretty sweet. I'm really happy so far, but it is getting pretty late here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call it a night, come back in the morning, and I still need to change out the oil, and then we should be good to get this thing started. So see you in the morning. All right, guys, back day 2. Like I said last night, the only thing left is to put some fresh oil in it. And I actually just noticed the oil that came with it. There's a new spark plug tucked up in there too, which is kind of nice. So yeah, let's get the oil changed and see if we can get this baby started. Alright guys, we have fresh oil in it. Make sure you check the tire pressures because the front one was empty, the back one was low. Got some gas in it. What else? Make sure you guys double check everything to make sure it's tight. I went over everything. These were loose. What else was loose? All these bolts that hold the fairings on were loose. The bolts that hold the triple tree, for the triple tree here, these were all loose. So make sure you go through everything really well. Make sure it's tight. Double check. What else was loose? These bolts that hold the end of the muffler on were loose. Long story short, just double check everything, guys. So we've got gas in it, fresh oil. Let's see if she starts. So it's got this Kickstarter, and the website didn't say anything about an electric start, but it looks like it's got an electric start. So we're gonna give that a shot. So let's see, the electric start's not working. Let's see if we can kickstart this bitch. What am I doing wrong? Something's not right. Fuel is on. Uh-oh, that sounded like she wanted to go. Alright. Let me grab my gloves. Oh, look at that. It's even actually got a little gear indicator on it. What's we got? We only got 4 gears. What are we at? 50? Is that right? Shit. What did I do? Well, looks like I'm walking back, guys. Fuck. All right, guys. So last week when I test drove this thing, it died on me. Wasn't really sure what happened. Probably was my fault in some way. But, you know, I ended up having to push it back to the house, which really sucked. And in the process of getting it, trying to restart it, I think I may have flooded it. So once I got it back, I pulled out the spark plug, let it air out. And then the cheap spark plug that came with the bike, I took it out and replaced it with the NGK one that they sent me. And, you know, ever since then, you know, I haven't had a problem getting it started. I did notice, you know, I've ridden it a few times this week and it seems a little, you know, sluggish, maybe a little bogged down. But I heard if you replace the carb with one of these aftermarket Makunis, this one's a 26 millimeter, I heard it really opens up the bike. So that thing is definitely going to go on there soon. I also initially put regular gas in it. I really don't know if that was a factor. I doubt it. The owner's manual says you can run regular, but recommends premium. Orion's Power Sports, their website says only run premium, but I run premium in both those bikes, so I'm definitely going to always be running premium in this. So, you know, had the bike a week. Still too early to tell whether or not it's worth the money. The good thing about these is they come pretty much all the way assembled. There's not a whole lot to putting them all the way together. So if you guys got any questions, if you have one of these, you know, cheap pit bikes and you have any questions about anything, you know, just post them below. If you guys, you know, saw anything that I might have done wrong or any tips or anything, you know, let me know too. I'd appreciate it. Alright guys, but that, you know, that does it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. You know, there's not a whole lot to putting these together because they, for the most part, like I said, come pretty much fully assembled. Just a few small things you got to put on, but if you got any questions, post them below. I try and answer as many questions as I can, as fast as I can. So, you know, guys, stay safe, stay healthy, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.